Welcome back. Again, you're listening to 1170 AM The Answer. This is Jason Hall with my Go Chargers. Kyle, I'm my co-host tonight with Whissel Wednesday. Also in studio along with David with Pacific Southwest Realty Services is one of his coworkers, Marcy Mauro. Marcy, how you doing?
Great.
Good. Hey, so you are a young lady. I'm going to be nice here. You're a young lady who's in commercial real estate loans. We were just talking about during the break, not a lot of women in commercial real estate. Why is that?
I don't know. It seems to be old school and that men's club.
Men's club. Kyle, is that your take? It's always been.
Yep.
It's always been just
It's like politics.
Okay, we don't get too much on that, but
We won't go that deep, but if you look at the state Senate or the House of Representatives and you look at the demographic of that, it's very similar to the demographic in the commercial real estate industry, whether it's on the finance side or on the sales side.
It's definitely that way in Southern California because that's what we know. So we'll at least talk about that. So also, let's talk about kind of your previous life. I understand that you had been a triathlete for many years.
I was, Jason. I was a professional triathlete and a professional cyclist. I raced on the U.S. national cycling team. I was on the U.S. World Triathlon team. And that whole ethic of an athlete really works well in this industry because you're looking at optimal execution, maximum productivity results. So it's a challenge. You got to work for it. We work harder than anyone else. When we get a client, we know that we need to clear the market. We need to do all the work to get the best terms for the client for the loan. So
you can't just sit there and wait for the phone to ring. You can't just hope everything's going to close. You actually get up early, work out just like you do in the office, right? It's nonstop. So let's talk about real quick. So how many miles is like an average bike ride for Marcy?
It all depends because you can do a lot of work in a short amount of time, similar to CrossFit, that cult. So
I got sucked into some of that stuff.
But you can do a 30-minute workout that's all hill repeats. And so max heart rate, max effort in a really short amount of time. You can do a 5-6 hour ride and go out to Dudley's Bakery, get an apple pie, come back. So it all depends on your
I have some clients doing these 100-mile rides. Have you done any of these 100-mile rides?
Well, think of what an Ironman is. So that was my specialty.
So give me that breakdown.
An Ironman is 2.4 miles swimming.
2.4 miles swimming. I would drown, right, Kyle and Paul?
For perspective, how long does it take to swim 2.4 miles?
Well, again, it depends on who you are, but we were looking at under an hour.
Wow. So
you're about swimming for an hour straight.
That's just amazing.
Open water with the animals.
Wow. With whatever's out there. Okay, so 2.4 mile swim. You get out of the water.
Transition's part of your race time. So no dilly-dallying. You just do the whole thing in a bathing suit. And you do 112 miles on the bike. So 100 miles, of course she does 100 miles, Jason, right,
yeah,
Kyle?
LA.
Yeah, it's to LA.
Yep.
It's even past LA, right, Paul? 112 miles. Wow. So 112-mile bike ride.
You might drive right through Carson on the way up there.
Oh, you would. We did that, right, Paul? Yeah, keep talking about it. So after the 112 bike ride, how long's the run?
The run's a marathon, 26.2 miles.
Woo! So you truly are a super athlete. So wow, it's been nice. We've been very fortunate to have some great women athletes here in studio with us. We had Monique Henderson, unbelievable track runner. She ran the 200, the 400, the 4x4 for the Olympic team relay. She has a gold. Paul, I know you got a question.
Yeah, what's a good time for an Ironman? Because that just sounds intense. Like any one of those is just impressive as on its own, but the fact you're doing 3 in one day, like how long is a good time for an Ironman?
Yeah, Paul, that's crazy how technology has really cut the times down. So these days they're doing it 8 to 9 hours. It used to be 9 to 10.
So why is technology cutting that down? Help me understand. Why
on the bike, aerodynamics on the bike, super light bikes, the technology, different gear ratios. It's amazing. And then secondarily is coming off the bike, being able to run. So when I was racing, we were doing 3:10 marathons. These girls are doing 3 hours flat.
Wow. And it took me, 2:30 to do a half marathon. Me and Kyle ran in Vegas last year. I had not ran a mile in 30 years. And Kyle's like, you're going to do this half marathon with me and the other guys. And I ended up doing it. And originally I thought, okay, maybe if I could do 3 hours, I'd be happy. I did 2:30, so I was pretty happy with that. But that was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life physically, is a half marathon. In Vegas, it's very flat. So that's the only reason Kyle even got me into it. It's flat because when I run hills now, I ran this morning, I died just going up slight in, hills. I can only imagine, Marcy, 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike ride to cap it with a full marathon.
Yeah,
wow.
When you get off a bike and start running, I've done some in the past, your legs are just straight noodles.
Jello.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bike and run are contraindicated.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's totally different. So how many years did you do that?
I raced professionally for 7. I have several top 10 in the world
Wow.
in Ironman distance, and that was my specialty. But overall, still competing, still swim, bike, run, but you go into an amateur level.
Right.
So 20 years total.
20 years total. So now you're back into commercial real estate stuff. So you're back into the real world, as you said, and all that training has really prepared you. So let's talk about that.
So it's the whole work ethic. It's the fact that you got to get it done. There's no procrastination. You're trying to work harder than anyone else. You're not entitled to the business. You got to work to get the business.
Isn't
just
that
like
key?
a race.
Do you think that, Kyle, we need to have her in maybe just to have her be, you could be a professional motivation speaker to other people in the business, because exactly that. How many people on sometimes that we've seen feel like they're entitled?
All
Kyle?
of them.
All of them, right? I mean, why didn't I get that deal? And why is that? Because we all assume. So sorry to interrupt, but that entitlement really hit home.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people in the workforce that because you have the job, you're entitled to get the win. But it's not like that. When you're an athlete, everyone's training. So you just got to want it more. You got to work harder and you got to want it more.
I love it. And all of us have one thing in common, is I imagine we're all pretty much 100% commission or pretty close to it. I know you do some of the marketing, some other stuff there, so there's probably some additional stuff there. And so it really is, you got to work hard. You're not entitled to anything. And I had somebody the other day tell me, well, everybody deserves a home, Jason. I go, what do you mean? Well, they deserve at least a place to live if they work. I'm like, this whole minimum wage thing came up. And they assume that everybody, if you work a minimum wage job, should be able to afford housing. And I'm like, wait a minute. What if I worked at McDonald's in Beverly Hills? That means I should be able to buy the house or rent a house? Come on. When I was working minimum wage, it took 4 of us to rent a 2-bedroom apartment that we all chopped up. That's just what you have to do to make it happen. I know Dave and I talked about, it's expensive rent here for the young people in San Diego. I mean, you have to do what it takes. I mean, it drives me crazy on time. I can get all sidetracked on that, Marcy, but let's continue on. So commercial real estate loans, what do you like most about commercial real estate loans?
What I like is that you're enabling people to better their life, to make big buying decisions that are going to set them up security-wise long-term. You're really helping the people, and it's competitive, and it's a marketplace that is a certain demographic. So when you're talking to different people from all walks of life, what are you looking at? How are we going to help you? How are we going to get you to take that step into the marketplace?
And every deal's different.
Every deal's
right?
different.
Every deal's different. Some people look at UI and Dave and they're like, isn't that a boring job just looking at numbers and doing loans? And we're like, no, every deal is different.
Aside from the fact I'm a total math numbers geek, but that's
a whole nother topic.
A whole nother topic. But like this one guy, we have a client and he's got a commercial property right now. By refinancing his loan right now with these interest rates, we're going to save him $2 million. $2 million over the life of the loan. And say that's a 10-year loan. That's a lot of money to save.
That's a huge amount. You can take that, reinvest that back in, buy some more properties, do some more stuff. That's amazing. So, all right. What brought you to Pacific Southwest Realty Services, Marcy?
I was on a bike ride.
Surprise.
Shocker.
Triathlete on a bike ride. Do you even use a car?
I try not to. I have a little 50cc scooter.
Wow.
That's my sole transportation with the bike on weekends.
Wow.
So I was on a mountain bike ride, Catalina Island, for the weekend, and there was a group of about 9 people, and one of them happened to be Jim Mulvihill, who is a vice president and principal at Pacific Southwest, and his dad, Dan Mulvihill,
started the company in 1972.
Yeah. So
you guys got talking?
Got talking, and I was just talking about wanting to drive my own business and make a lot of money and help change the world.
And welcome to commercial real estate.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's a good story. Bike riding in Catalina. So did you swim over there? I mean, how many miles is it to Catalina? I haven't been over to Catalina.
22.
So you're not swimming 22 miles, right? So that's a exciting story. So we're going to head to break. Again, you're listening to 1170 AM, The Answer. This is Whissel Wednesdays. In studio with me and Kyle tonight is Marcy and David with Pacific Southwest Realty Services. We'll be right back.